Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lillian Sparks Robinson, Vice Chair of the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development. And what I always like to say, I am your native Oprah for today. So I am thrilled to be sitting next to Twila True of True Family Enterprises, of Twila True Fine Jewelry, of which I'm wearing some of her diamonds today, but really just a role model and inspiration to so many of us. So Twila, please share just a little bit of your background and how you got from Pine Ridge, South Dakota to Newport Beach, California.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here. It's usually my line that I'm the native Oprah, so now you have two of us.
One of us can be Gail.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
We'll figure that part out
I
later.
will be Gail.
Okay.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much. Twila True, founder, True Family Office, True Family Enterprises. We created our wealth about 30 years ago in consumer goods. Today we own multiple verticals. It's been a long journey, but a fruitful one, so I'm happy to be here, and I say it's a great day. Every day is a great day.
Excellent. So you have been a former Woman Indian Business of the Year recipient for NCAIED. You've been recognized nationally and internationally, but I know a lot of your success has to deal with your core values. We're both Lakota women. We know that generosity and bravery, fortitude, as well as wisdom plays a big part of our lives. And my personal theme is grateful. I try to show gratitude every day. What is your personal theme?
My personal theme is that every day is a great day. I say that every day is a great day because I am gifted. I was born indigenous, I was born native, I was born Lakota, and that's a gift, number one. Number two, the second gift is I was gifted with hard circumstances. I was gifted with the inability to go to college. I was gifted with hardship, hard family circumstances. That's a gift. It's a gift because you're on your own and you have to figure it out. And there's very few of us that can take that road and prosper from that road. And I believe that we were made for it. No one else could probably do it and probably endure the troubles and the travels that we have.
That's right. I think we've all, can relate to some of those challenges, but how we don't see them as obstacles, barriers, or excuses, but really just a basis and a foundation to grow even stronger. So I appreciate you sharing that. Now, last week we celebrated International Women's Day on March 8th. And you have several verticals that deal specifically with women as the consumer. Fashion, jewelry, again, Twila True Fine Jewelry over at Resorts World. While you're here, please take a look at the beautiful jewelry there. Beauty, fashion, but you've been super successful in male-dominated industries as well. Technology, media, music, global exports. Can you share with us what your experience has been walking into a room and being sometimes the only woman or maybe the only person of color?
So I think it's been very interesting because I didn't know I was gifted again by indigenous and native culture. I didn't know that the Western world didn't have a place for women. Where I was brought up, we were always recognized, we were always respected. We always had a seat at the table. So it was sort of surprising that the Western world didn't have that. However, I didn't walk in with that because that's not how I was raised. So to be able to bring that to the Western world, and when there are obstacles, I don't see them as obstacles. I see them as an opportunity. So if I'm faced with someone that has never had the opportunity to see an intelligent, well-spoken, diverse business person in front of them who happens to be indigenous, who happens to be native, who happens to be a woman, I take that as an opportunity to be an example, to represent everyone behind me and educate you on who and how we are.
You talked about opportunity in there, and for so many of us, I think we see opportunities come our way, and a lot of times it's, whether or not we make the most of what's presented in front of us. I was blessed enough to be raised with parents and my mom who, even when I was afraid to say yes, she said yes for me. So there was never a question, and I say that's the reason why a lot of times I'm so well prepared today is because my mom raised me to always be ready no matter the circumstances. And so for me, opportunity, I always see it as a blessing that's right before me, waiting for me to grasp. What does opportunity mean for you? And what opportunities do you see coming up in the future?
Opportunities are quite interesting, and I love that question. Because of our circumstances, because of where we are as a people, we have nothing but opportunity in front of us. So for the last 30 years, building a family office, I have never seen the largest opportunity as you see today. So if you look at government, if you look at tribe, if you look at private sector meaning capital markets, entertainment, infrastructure, construction, clean energy, never in the history of the 30 years that I've practiced in the private sector have I seen the opportunity that exists today for tribes, Indian country, and also tribal entrepreneurs, tribal members who are entrepreneurs. It used to bother me years ago when having private wealth was not seen as something for a indigenous, native, tribal person. Absolutely, you have that for tribe, and you also have private wealth for yourself. You're entrepreneurs. And once you have that ability to be on top of business, to be on top of leading efforts, now you can affect things. You can affect education. You can help bring that back to your people. You can help affect tribe and understand how capital markets or the private sector works. So I think that's been one of the most interesting things, is to see the growth of indigenous native people and grab the opportunities that are available.
Right. So your parent holding company is called True Family Enterprises. And I love that the word family is in there because, speaking with you and visiting with you and getting to know you over the past year, I know family remains front and center for a lot of the work that you do. And for me, it is also the same way. We're family-centered women who are successful businesswomen. I want to first acknowledge my family that's here with me. I have my Aunt Ida Brushbreaker, my mom Georgeline Brushbreaker Sparks, and my 9-year-old son Connor Cubby Robinson. This is his first res, in case anybody's wondering about that. But you have your family here with you as well.
I have my family here. I'd love to recognize them. True table, true team. So I have my husband, I have my 2 sons, my daughter. Look, a family office means that you created your wealth. A family office is no different than tribe. You create wealth, you have to keep your wealth, you have to diverse, and you have to have a succession plan. So whether you do that as a tribe or whether you do that as an independent, I happen to do it as an independent, but they both work the same. And so now what we have to do is bring those capabilities of family office and bring them into tribe. And we're community-based, we're family-based, we're cultural-based. So together, bringing in that family, together succeeding as one and as culture, you'll never see a stronger point of success with the merge of family and tribe and culture.
So part of the work that we do is about creating wealth and creating business, but I think part of the work we do is also about giving back and sharing what we know and sharing our resources and sharing our information. How does that play into the work that you do, the giving back aspect?
I think that everything we do is an ecosystem. So where are you in that ecosystem? And now making sure that the ecosystem and everybody has a part to play. So whether you're creating wealth as an independent or as a tribe, then next you have to make sure that there's education that happens. Then you have to share that information, and then you have to be communal with that information for the whole ecosystem. So it's not just participating in a not-for-profit. It's just not participating in a for-profit. It's making sure that all of these ecosystems work together.
So as a business leader, you know, we come across a lot of, not just opportunities, but we come across, I think, a lot of possibilities for partnerships, possibilities for joint ventures, possibilities to enter new markets. What are the things that you consider when presented those opportunities?
I think top of mind right now, you're always looking at the markets, and you're always looking at where are the opportunities. Was with a friend last night, and one of the things we talked about is, look, you can't be too early with your opportunities, and you can't be too late with your opportunities. You have to figure out where the sectors are. Some of the most exciting sectors that I see right now, I think that we have some moments going on. I think what's going on in clean energy and government is quite interesting. I think what's going on in infrastructure, you have a lot of infrastructure happening in the US, and guess what? You have to cross a lot of Indian country for that infrastructure. Entertainment's quite interesting. We have a moment in entertainment. Entertainment also crosses culture. Culture in entertainment, this is the representation of culture. This is the representation of indigenous country. Some of the statistics that you look at travel, you look at entertainment, indigenous, native interests are at the highest levels in those sectors. So those are some of the things that I'm most interested in right now.
One of the things I always appreciate about you, Twila, is that you're always so gracious, and you always lend an air of elegance in the work that you do. And when we think about business, especially women, you know, we're thought of as being, you know, hard asses. Sorry for my language, for being tough, for being direct. But when I think of you, I think of a woman who really just comes in and sets a calming tone and a calming mood and is still able to get work done. Where do you think that comes from?
I think that it's innate to culture. I think that we already have the confidence. Nobody needs to talk us into what our skill set is. Nobody needs to talk us into what we bring to community, to cities, states, countries. I mean, to be honest, we're desperately needed right now in the gifts and the way of thinking that we can bring to Western and indigenous cultures. So I thank you for that. I think maybe again it's confidence. We know where we come from, and we're happy to share that gift that we know is probably highly needed in the world today.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. You know, you live in California, I live in Washington, D.C. area. You know, I think our paces are probably on the polar opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of when people think about the work that's being done and how we communicate. But absolutely, I think D.C. especially could probably benefit from a quiet confidence right now that allows for calming and peaceful ways of communicating. You have done so much. I know that you probably have a lot on the horizon. In fact, I know for a fact that you have some exciting things coming up. And so can you please share with the people what some of the next steps are for you?
Yes, I'm excited to bring to the industry, number one, capital markets. Capital markets has usually been sort of a foreign word to us. You know, we know how to work with government. We understand how to grant write. But one of the things that you still need for a successful business is capital. And how do you approach the public markets? So having that success in the private sector, bringing capital markets and bringing that capability, that understanding, that access to capital markets is one. The second is the Indigenous Collective. So Indigenous Collective brings together brands, artists, entertainment, and pulls together a community. many of what we do sometimes is that inability to to pull together. So pulling together Indigenous creatives is a huge opportunity right now, and that's one of the exciting launches.
Yes, I'm so excited to be working with you on the Indigenous Fashion Collective along with Sarah Eaglehart. We'll be having an event this evening where we'll be doing our soft launch and we'll be doing additional work throughout the year. So we'll keep everyone posted. But what is going to be your personal legacy as you begin thinking about your own personal next steps? And I share with you, during lunch today, I was saying to my son, you know, I'm working so that you can take over my job one day, at which point he informed me, well, Mom, I'm going to the NFL and you know this. And so I said, yes, but one day you'll have to retire from the NFL and then you can have my job. And he said, but I will be entering the NBA after the NFL, so I'm not really quite sure when I'll be able to be your position. What is your legacy for your family and for your children? And it doesn't even have to be necessarily within True Family Enterprises, but what are your hopes and dreams and how are you lending to their legacy?
I've already been fortunate as a family office to have had the success that we have in the private market. Now, can I bring those teachings and can I bring that knowledge and that access to Indian country, to tribes? I think that is my legacy and the final chapter of the ecosystem, and hoping that I can be a reflection, hoping that I can be someone that my culture can be proud of, and hoping that I can see others that look like me or whom I represent continue to take the positions that we've been able to maybe charter out in front and share that knowledge.
Yeah, what a beautiful legacy. What a beautiful life you've created for your family and for the communities that you've touched and impacted. It is really what we're hoping to do here is share and inspire for others to be able to do the same. As you know, the Reservation Economic Summit is not just about sharing information, but it's about relationship building. It's about making those connections and making those networks and taking that information and those relationships and cultivating it for your businesses that you work for your communities that you come from, and for the generations that will be coming after you. And I guess my last question is, what is your final piece of advice for our Res attendees as they are making the most over this week and hoping to go back home with new information?
Maybe the last and final piece I'll say is, come and see me or come and see someone from my team for the areas that we know we have opportunities or access to. That would be infrastructure construction, clean energy, the Indigenous Fashion Collective, capital markets and access to capital, business entrepreneurship. So any of these where myself or my team can share the knowledge, tell you about what we're doing, and make sure that we've got you involved in our projects. That's the mission here, and that's what we're trying to do this week at Res.
Well, it has been my absolute honor, Twila, to be sitting here with you on this stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
To think about the work that we're going to be doing with the Indigenous Fashion Collective, but also to think about how you're inspiring women throughout the nation, not just here at Res with the 4,500 attendees that we have, not just from your community, your home community in California, as well as your tribal community of Pine Ridge, South Dakota, and the Oglala Sioux tribe, but women everywhere, young girls that are hoping to be business leaders, that are hoping to enter markets that are traditionally not that are not created for women to enter and be successful, but you've broken that mold. I think you've broken that stereotype, and you've been nothing but a true inspiration for so many of us here. So thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you for having me.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.